Well, he's got tinnitus and he's getting older, so his hearing isn't great. So he's come up with some other alternate addition phrases that he's thought he's heard. And Gust of Wind dance that Albert's doing is just the Queen's ass.
Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm Sailor, not playing Kingdom Hearts 3 Lie.
And I'm Maddie.
And today we're going to be playing part 2.5 to 3 of Chapter 4 of Legend of Dragoon, stopping at the last save point in the entire game, which is right before the final boss. A lot happens in the final boss, so we're going to give it its own episode, and then it'll also be the live episode, so we're probably going to be on tangents about The Simpsons again, so gives us more room to do that.
Okay. Which of us Which of us is going to be coming out this time?
Yeah, we have to make this our thing. Someone comes out every time we do a live episode.
Extremely dramatic plot twist at the end of each season.
Yeah.
But, before we get into all of that, how is everybody's week?
I don't think anything really noteworthy happened. I took another 3-day weekend because why the hell not? I had the time off available. I've been planning my wedding. So that's exciting. Yeah.
Exciting.
We're going to get married on the beach and it's going to be really awesome.
Beach wedding.
Yeah. My parents have a timeshare, and they go to Myrtle Beach every year. And so Ken and I are going to have a place to stay without any, we're not going to have to pay for a motel room.
Nice.
Yeah. And,
destination wedding on the cheap.
Yeah, exactly. And the wedding plan that I've picked out is only $1,500, which is a fraction of what Disney was going to cost. And Disney, Mom and I were thinking Disney's going to be all inclusive. That's what that $7,000 is for. They're gonna put us up in a room and they're gonna get us tickets and everything. No, Disney wedding, you pay just for the wedding part, and then everything else you have to pay additional.
Yep.
And it sucks.
Unfortunately,
for $7,000, I'm not surprised, because Disney is ungodly expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as a person who has worked a lot in the wedding industry, 7,000 is normal. Your 1,500 that you got is insane because we charge 25 for most basic packages of just photos and videos for a wedding.
Yeah.
So, you get out for 15 is insanely good.
Yeah, this includes the ceremony. It's got a sand ceremony. It includes the decorations. What else? Music. Wow. They're taking care of so much for us.
That's insane.
It's super great. And they're an absolute pleasure to work with. I talked with it's a husband and wife couple, and I talked with Scott on the phone, and he was so nice. And I called, and the first thing I asked was do you do same-sex weddings? Because if not, then I'm going to hang up right now. And he was like, oh no, we definitely do same-sex weddings. We want to help out everyone. And then he told me some harrowing tales of other wedding sites at Myrtle Beach that don't do same-sex weddings, and I was like, I'm so glad I found you, because your website was my favorite anyway.
And then also you're cheap, so...
Yes, exactly. And I'm actually getting one of the more expensive wedding packages. He said, since we're doing it on Labor Day weekend, there was a minimum purchase of the $1,000 package.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, that doesn't include a photo album, so let's go one up from that.
Right.
So,
that's dope.
One step up from the cheapest possible option is how I always roll.
You're like, well, on the cheapest option, I'll hate myself. So let me just mark off the self-loathing.
The cheapest option is $200.
Oh, wow.
Not even kidding.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that just like a Justice of the Peace walks in? It's just like, yo, and then that's it.
No, actually, I mean, it's still on the beach. You know, you would have to pay slightly extra for decorations, but, it's just a very simple ceremony.
Wow.
So, and it's still like, they still do their best to make it look really nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when's the date again?
August 31st.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I
FaceTime
would love to go, but the thing is, I hate sand. It's rough and coarse, and it gets everywhere.
Has that joke been
Not
made
like you, though.
Thank you.
You're soft.
Aw, thanks. I am a soft boy. In every sense of the word, unfortunately. But I'm trying not to be. Have we made that joke in every single one of our podcast episodes? Because I feel like we have.
Well, every time sand appears.
Yeah, at least every game, if not. Let's see, because...
Okay, look, I feel like I was a little bit ahead of the curve, because here's the thing. I've always been a prequel stan. I like the prequels. I even love them, which does not mean that I think that they're incredibly good, but, I love them for my own reasons. Mm-hmm. And I've always thought that just, every other line in Episode 2 is just the funniest shit. And especially that line. It's like me and my buddy Brian have been, making essentially what you would call in the modern era shitposts of that exchange from Star Wars since practically since the movie came out. And I feel like that wasn't the case for the rest of the internet. I feel like it's more of the last couple of years thing. So I feel like I was ahead of the curve. Yeah. So I'll always love making sand jokes.
Works for me.
So unless I made it, I don't think we made one in Persona 3 because the beach episode was before Maddie joined the podcast.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah. And then I showed up and ruined y'all's brains with stupid idiot comments.
We should insert her in there.
Yeah. I'll just go back and just put in the joke.
Yeah.
People are like, who even is this person? Who hates sand?
It's the special director's cut of Persona 3.
Oh, going back and adding to that wasn't there before, just like in Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. See, I'm clever.
Good job.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you. I haven't even seen most of the Star Wars. So, but
Sam,
I know.
how is that allowed?
Here's $1. Go see a Star Wars.
I've seen the new Star Wars.
Star Wars is good.
Since
to be fair, The Last Jedi is the best one, so you don't need to bother with the rest of them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's not true. You should watch all of them.
I love The Last Jedi.
Yeah, it's so good. But I played Kingdom Hearts 3, so Maddie, how was your week?
A lot of life stuff. I had a lot of weird emotions about weird things that I won't bother going into. I might have some life news in the percolator, but I'm not going to share or explain. Certainly not publicly, but really not even privately, because I wouldn't want y'all to worry or bother with something that's very tentative at this point. Yeah, that's basically it. I made a couple new trans friends, which is really nice.
Nice.
It's nice to not be hanging out with the straights every day.
I agree. I think you're my only trans friend, Maddie. At least the only one who I speak to on a regular basis. So
yeah, I used to only have some online ones, but now I'm starting to get a couple of IRLs.
Nice.
Which is spoiler alert. They're easier to come by out here in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
For reasons that are probably obvious.
I somehow have every trans friend. I think I'm the only cishet in my entire friend group.
Well, nice. Do you have something to share with us next week? I'm just kidding. No, someone's got to be boring. Anyway, no, I don't know. Life is tough as usual. I think I say that every week. Life is tough, but I'm managing.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and dive in. It's a little bit beefy this week because instead of splitting off all of the character moments to be talked about at the end or not, we're going to talk about all of them because this is the last one in the game. So kind of important to resolve these people's plot threads.
Yep. Even Kongal.
Even Kongol.
We didn't realize had a plot thread, but apparently he did.
He did.
Yeah. I actually really love his plot thread.
Yeah.
It's been there the whole time, too. He's just kind of in the background, but
He just doesn't
does
talk
stuff a
about
lot.
it.
Yeah.
He keeps it to himself.
He's a man of few words. His only words are, Kongol is late. But first things first is we go and we fight a bunch of dragoons, and we fight a magician, and then we go to fight a dragon, and then realize that Lavitz killed the dragon for us.
Yep.
And then we continue on and do the rest of it.
Eli, did you do the side questies?
I did the Polter armor, and that was it.
Okay.
Where's the Polter armor from?
That's from
Is
the
the
Forbidden...
Fort McGrad.
Or Fort... Yeah, that.
The one
okay.
where you get the Soul Eater.
Do you get something better later? Because I don't feel like I wear that.
Your Soul Eater? It's his best. It's his best
No.
sword
The
in the game.
Polter armor is the name of the boss.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was the name of like armor.
No,
I was like,
no.
I don't have Polter armor.
No.
Gotcha. That makes it. Yes. I understand. Yeah, cool. I already did that one.
Yeah. Yeah. The dragoons were really, really cool. Like, because each of them, like, you get their actual backstory, and more importantly, you get their relationship with Rose, and it's like Rose literally facing her demons, and like, I let all of you down, and I'm sorry, and she has to just kind of like lay them and also her memories to rest, and it's really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Only Kansas is actually hard, and I still beat him on accident because I went into the wrong door.
Nice.
I was geared up to face Belzac, and I'm like, all right, let's walk in, and then in comes Kansas. I'm like, well, I have nothing to defend against this. Let's just pray for the best. And it worked.
See, that was one thing, is I didn't know which door went to any of them, and it's annoying, because like if you go in the wrong door, or if you go in a door for one that you're not really equipped for, with the right characters or equipment, because of their element, then you might get wrecked, and then it's like, it's a long time to lose, and then it's kind of a bit of a trek to get back there. It's like 2 or 3 screens, a couple random battles. So like, every single battle, I was praying really hard, like, I don't want to fucking lose. Come on. So I went into every door with a generic loadout, not geared towards any particular, element or anything. And I think most of them I one-shotted. I like how not all the Dragoons are like, cool. Like, one of them is just like an insane person who loves killing.
Yeah.
And that's why he's a Dragoon. He's like, I love to murder people. And
Wow.
Rose is like, well, at least you murdered the Winglies in war.
Not only does he love to murder people, he also buys one creepy porcelain doll per person he kills and keeps them in his room. You walk in and the room is filled with porcelain dolls.
Oh, God.
He's a very weird person.
Oh.
And to be fair, somebody joining a certain job, not be out of any sort of sense of altruism, but just because that job allows them to murder people legally, that's a thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. That was Kansas that was like that. He was the one that blew up the garage by hugging its face in the FMV.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So he just probably was okay to go out that way because at least he got to kill one more thing before he died. He died how he lived.
Yeah, he died doing what he loved.
But yeah, so we hop up Lavitz's portal, and then the portal turns out to actually be a grav lift, and so we zounk up to the top of Mayfill by the Signet Sphere, and we pat ourselves on the back for having protected it. But of course, Zieg is already there, because why wouldn't he be? I do have to say, this whole disc, us losing over and over again, is kind of great. Like, not a lot of JRPGs do that. Like, they might be like one climactic battle where we think we win, but things don't go the way we thought. But this is just like over and over just losing, and you guys suck for this whole last disc, and it's kind of awesome.
We're getting real tired of winning in this part.
Yeah. I've seen it happen in a few games, especially JRPGs, and I think it's with the same sort of gimmick. It's like, oh, the bad guy's going to go get the 5 things. We need to get them. Oh no, we lose every time. But usually you don't put it in disc 4.
Yeah.
Usually you put it like earlier.
Yeah, like that. That's
Yeah.
usually what starts like the World of Ruin type thing. Like that's a halfway point type plot line.
Yeah, it's interesting putting something like that way at the end once shit's kind of real. I almost kind of don't like it, but on the other hand, it doesn't take that long. It's not like you're taking a lengthy portion of the plot. It's just like, no, this is like one little chapter is you actually do 3 different things.
Yeah.
Because the dungeons are so short, So, yeah, it's cool.
But, Yeah, so Dart goes into a Dragoon form and charges at Zieg, but Zieg just like bitch slaps him and knocks he knocks him back into his normal clothes. It just knocks him onto the ground and
knocked the Dragoon stone right out of him.
Well, no, that's later.
Oh, that's right. Shit. All right, cut that out. Edit that.
No, it's fine. Dart can't hold on to his Dragoon stone for shit in this game.
That's true.
Very true.
So Zieg shatters the Signet Stone, and then we get to play Majora's Mask for a little bit because the moon falls from the sky.
Dawn of the third day.
And Zieg says that Shauna hasn't fully joined with the moon yet, so we're telling you there is a chance. And so Kulan comes up to Mayfield where he said he couldn't fly, the lying bastard, and gives us a ride. And so then we get to see one of the best FMVs. The best FMV is at the end of the game, but this is one of the best ones. It's like a badass
really
ride
cool.
On Kulan, and you're like flying over everything to try and race to the moon. Meanwhile, the moon, as it's re-entering the atmosphere, like reveals the divine tree and just like lands on it, and then like shits out like 1,005,000 Virage just like all over the whole planet. And we're like, it's our job to go and stop those, but that they're a symptom, not the cause. So we're just gonna let them raise some villages real quick while we go in and do this final dungeon.
It's basically the same as Xenogears, where it's like these angels are turning everybody into zombies, but we just gotta go kill the final boss. So
Yeah.
Stop. Also, most of them are dead already anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah. So we land on the divine tree, and Kulan is out of commission, and that is why previous was the point of no return. Sorry, conturn. I don't even know what's wrong with my voice sometimes. But so we start to climb the tree, and then we have a random caterpillar as a boss fight. It's a 3-stage boss fight. Some of it's kind of hard, but it's complete filler. They're just like, oh hey, here's a species that never made it down to Earth. Huh. Oh well, we killed the only one of them, so let's move on.
We killed the entire evolutionary line of Butterfree.
Maybe they figured this dungeon needed an actual boss.
Yeah.
That wasn't a fake boss, like the next 6 bosses.
Yeah.
7.
I didn't really understand its inclusion or why it was hell-bent on killing us.
Yeah. So there's a bit and that like most JRPGs do, and it's some point in the story where you don't put up with fighting a large skeleton at the end of some random gravestone dungeon anymore. Like you can't do that. And here they're just like, hey, here's a caterpillar, and it's like, well, I'm sorry, we have Virages and my dad and stuff to fight. Like I can't really take your generic JRPG boss right now, and so it's way out of place.
Yeah.
Well, they
Although
realized...
I like the idea of having a boss so damn early in the dungeon. It sets the tone well. It's like, ooh, shit's serious now.
Yeah. I just wish it would have been like the Divine Dragon or something.
Yeah.
Or take the Virage fight from way later when it's a throwaway to right here where it would be like thematic and important.
Yeah, that could have worked.
Something interesting that's not a weird bug.
Yeah. So then we climb up through this first little mini dungeon of the tree. It's mostly some hallways and a lot of Dragoon armor just laying around on the floor because that makes sense. And so then we get to the moon and we decide we're going to blow it up. The world ends if Shauna and the core combine. So if we can kill the core and take Shauna, we won't have to kill her and we can save the day, and Dark can still have his girlfriend. So we I have no idea what that was referencing. I mean, I know the throwback joke, but I don't know what in the plot it was referencing to, so I'm not going to say the joke. Because I said, just ruin one of the magic things instead of getting all 7 for yourself. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about right there. Because we're both blowing up the moon and taking Shauna, so that we're getting all 7 things. So whatever, past Sam. So Dart yells out his deist battle cry of he doesn't give a shit about what God wants, and we can make our own fate, and the creator can suck it, so we head off into the moon. And right as we get inside, there's some sort of a magic pulsy thing, and what looks like a heart in the middle of the moon starts beating, which is definitely a bad sign when we're trying to keep the moon from waking up. And so we start to run towards it, but we end up in a snowy forest because the Virage embryo is warping reality around it and basing it off of our party's memories and stuff. So we get to do the Dragellum dungeon, and
Yep.
it's actually good. So the first one we go to is Miranda. The forest is the forest where she grew up, where not only did her mom abandon her, her mom told her to her face that she hated Miranda and her dad, and Miranda watched her leave with some dude and never come home. And then for some reason, the Rose her mother left behind becomes a boss, and we fight that.
Of course we do.
But of course,
as soon as I saw that Rose in the middle of the screen, I was like, dude, Miranda, you know it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. It's kill or be killed.
So the Rose becomes some weird body horror version of Miranda's mom, because that's what you do. And so Miranda gets to talk to it because it's a fake boss fight. And this is one of the many fake boss fights here that you don't actually have to deal damage on. You can just heal through it. Probably because they're like, how could Miranda deal damage? But
yeah.
So Miranda's mom says that she abandoned her, but came back for her all the time to take Miranda with her, but Miranda's father wouldn't let her. Her real beef was with her father, and she was so sorry that Miranda was caught in the middle. And at the end, we're forced to forgive her to end the fight. Miranda then muses about how she preaches love and forgiveness, but had all this unresolved hatred in her heart, so she doesn't deserve to be a sacred sister. It's clunky. Doesn't explain Miranda very much. She's still my least favorite character.
Yeah.
But as a quick reminder to everyone listening, therapy is cheaper than you think and very valuable, and you should definitely get it. And if you truly can't afford it, there are a lot of good mindfulness exercises for free available all over the place. And I'll put some in the show notes because we didn't need to go to a boss fight. She could have just realized she was holding on to the anger of her mother. Yep. So
also low-key, did her forgiving her mother seem super, like, random and sudden? Like,
yeah,
she's like, I hate you. Yeah.
That's why I said we're forced to forgive her.
Yeah, well, also, it's so... Her mom was terrible, and what she did was terrible, and we just learned about that, like, 30 seconds ago. And then you're in battle, and the dialogue option is like, I forgive you. And I'm like, wait, why? Why would you? No, you don't. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But she does, so good on you, Miranda.
Anywho, yeah, I really don't like Miranda, and it's not just because she took Shauna's place, because like I didn't use Shauna anyways, so it's like not like losing Lavitz type thing gameplay wise, but it's like she just kind of like shows up and we're supposed to care, and I barely ever do. But she does make that psych bomb deal some 7,000 damage though, so
good lord,
that's at least helpful.
She's beautiful.
But Rose does pretty well with it too, so no reason to switch out Rose, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I was at the... I was either one of the side quests or the end game here, where they're like, oh, you need Miranda because of the thing, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just... Like, it's losing like 50 magic attack to switch down to Rose, but then I won't suck every turn when I run out of magic items. Yeah. So I'm just going to do that.
Yep.
But the next place is a bar in Serdio, and Hashel sees some pinkish purple-haired girl, and she runs off. And Albert sees one of his old drinking buddies, so we know that not only are we in Serdio, we're in Bale 20 years ago. And so we all decide to follow the pink-haired girl because it's the only door in the room.
Oh, wait. Sorry, I have a joke that I've been meaning to make ever since Serdio first came up.
Okay.
Sir Serdio. Sir Serdio. I can't believe I forgot to do that. So
that's okay.
There, I've finally done it.
I'll cut this back into episode 1 or 2. It'll fit.
It's Studio by Phil Collins. Yeah, I almost called him Phil Hartman, but that's totally different person.
That's a different.
I'm very tired. I was up very late playing Final Fantasy. 14,
but, not 10 yet.
Good job.
No.
But, yeah, so, we follow her into Kokiri Forest, where we meet the Minitos, which are the opposite of Gigantos, obviously. But
So they didn't cut them out of the game.
They didn't. But if this is built off of our memories, where the fuck did they come from?
That is funny.
This is probably the one map they made and the one character model, because every Minitos we've seen in the entire game is the same character model.
Yep.
Okay. This is not just the requisite Homestuck reference, like, because I feel like I want to make a joke. It actually is kind of like Homestuck. Maybe it's like kind of their memories, but also these are like spirits or spirit guides, and it's all just kind of memories and spirit guides and illusions all kind of mingling together in one big thing.
It might be.
Yeah, because remember, they're like explaining, the rest of the memories are actual memories, but the Minitos are like explaining how things work, remember?
Yeah.
They're like, you're going to be shown what you need to see, so yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, it still looks like we were supposed to go to Minitos Forest at some point in, like, Disc 2 or something.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're an important section of the lore, as we found out in one of the FMVs, and then here they are with a 3-screen, like, half dungeon and 2 NPCs.
It's like on one hand, we didn't have time to actually put this part in the game, but on the other hand, our graphic artist already, our 3D artist did already make these Minitos models, and we don't want them to feel sad that we didn't use their work, so we'll throw them in at the end.
Yeah.
Which is respectable. Good job, person who made the Minitos models. They're cute.
Yeah. I really wish that we had more of it, but oh well.
They are adorable little polygons.
So, but if we had more of it, one of them probably would have joined our team. Which person would you want to be a Minuto?
Oh, Haschel.
Haschel? I could see it being Haschel.
Minitos would
I'm over
be amazing.
Yeah. So, so we follow the...
That's basically how it sounds already anyway.
Right. But we follow the purple-haired girl, and she jumps into a portal, and Dart tries to follow, but Haschel's like, oh, she doesn't know you yet, and it's obviously Claire, Dart's mom, and Haschel's daughter, and they never really, Dart never really celebrated that his only surviving father figure was actually his granddad, which kind of would have been great.
Yeah.
The most we get is this right here, where he's like, she doesn't know you yet, as in we both understand what this is, and then at the end, he's like, you know Claire was your mom, right? If you talked to him before the final boss, he's just like, yeah. And that's it. That's all we did.
Wow, like...
Just so we're clear.
Yeah, no big resolution there, but whatever.
I feel kind of bad for Dart in that regard, because, like... But, I mean, I guess he's the one who's kind of, like, just kind of shoving it off, but...
Yeah.
You know, I do wish that they had gone into that a little bit more, because I was like, did they... I guess I wasn't paying enough attention, because I was like, did they actually say if it was Dart's mom?
No, they
Bart doesn't need a mom. He has Rose.
Right?
Yeah.
I just called him Bart without even realizing it.
That's great. Yeah. So when we get inside, Claire and Haschel fight, and it's less revelatory than Miranda's, because Claire wanted to be a girly girl, and Haschel wanted an heir to the Rouge art. And in the end, Haschel knows that he needed to be active in helping her overcome her mistake in killing people, instead of just feeling like a failure or just forgiving her. Like, he needed to, like, just saying, I forgive you for killing somebody isn't as much as like, hey, this probably really fucked you up. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And let me be there
therapy.
for you. Yeah.
In this case, therapy is beating the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Also, you know, there's some kind of, like, dark demon of fighting that possesses her or something.
Yeah, like the ultimate,
and she's the
actual god of
greatest
war
fighter
or
ever.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah, the God of War is like, you trained her to be good at fighting, so you did too good of a job. You trained her too good. She became so good at fighting that now she's become fighting incarnate, and I've taken over her spirit. And Hassel's like, whoops. You hate to see it happen.
I mean, this is what I always wanted, but not like this.
So also, I just put this together. So, back in NEAT, 18 years ago, when Dart's dad and Dart's mom were like, hey, Dart, you wait here. And Zieg ran off to go and do the thing. And then she's like, all right, Dart, you're safe. And then she runs off to do the thing. She went and kung fu'd the shit out of Rose and got killed for it.
Yeah. That is true.
She punched Rose and Rose killed her, and it's kind of awesome. Like I want that FMV now. It's just Claire versus Rose, Kung Fu versus Dragoon, except Rose is probably really good and just like astral drained her and killed her in one hit or something.
Yeah.
But
yeah. She's one slice woman, basically.
Yeah.
But could she beat Shaggy?
Probably
That's
not.
the question.
So I because of that Shaggy thing being shared, I started following a guy that's like really big into Scooby-Doo, and he like dissects and talks about how all of them are connected and which ones are the best ones and all of this stuff. And I'm like, this is the kind of content I want on my Twitter.
How
I love the Shaggy meme.
How
It's
did
so
that
good.
even start? Like, I just suddenly
It's kind
started
of been a
seeing
low-key
things
thing for a while.
about
but,
Shaggy,
yeah.
like, don't look into his eyes. And...
Have you seen the clip, Eli, of him kicking people's ass?
No.
Okay, so it's a fairly old Scooby-Doo movie, like 3 or 4 years old now, but Shaggy gets possessed by something that whenever somebody says the word bad, he turns into a badass, and then if they say bad again, he turns back into Shaggy, and he's at some bar, and somebody's like, I'm gonna beat you up so bad, and then he turns into crazy anime hero Shaggy and kicks the ass of everybody in the bar.
Is this real Scooby-Doo?
It's
It was
real
an actual
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby.
Oh my God.
Scooby, not AMV. What do we call those?
OVA?
You know, when the anime gets like a
OVA?
OVA. Yeah. It's like a Scooby
Okay.
OVA,
Yeah.
basically.
Interesting.
AMV.
Uh,
I was an early odds YouTube kid.
The guy who played Shaggy in the movies is in Twin Peaks: The Return.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He actually-
So good, Matthew Lillard.
Yes.
Yeah, he actually took over the role of Shaggy everywhere because he did so good, which is really awesome.
Wow.
He's the current Shaggy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And Squirrel Girl, because I never remember actors as their real names until they do something to cement themselves. And this one's in reverse because she hasn't played Squirrel Girl yet, but she has played Sadie. She's Velma, which is great. Sadie, the Sadie Killer.
Oh, Kate Micucci?
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
okay.
Name means nothing to me. She will be Squirrel Girl, and she currently is Sadie.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah. Though actually, she might have the show might have come out where she was Squirrel Girl. I don't know. It was one of the Disney shows.
Oh, okay. Well, Ken's gonna want to see that. He adores Squirrel Girl.
Yeah. I think it's called Marvel Secret Warriors Uprising. I think it's on Disney XD. I think it is out now that I'm thinking about it.
That's a lot of words.
It is. So next up is Rose and Kongol, and so we go into what looks like Kazas or Bale. It turns out that it's Bale, but Emperor Dole's throne room is there, so it throws me off. But Dole is about to take the throne, but
is that after Dart and Rose fall down?
Nope, but we're getting there.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I think they all get
Jumping
separated, but then we don't actually visit Dart and Rose till later.
Yeah, that's what's about to happen. So
I gotcha.
So we go to the city, but we can't do anything. But there's a portal. So being JRPG heroes, we jump through the portal, and then we go way up above the clouds where we can look down at the capital and everything. But then Rose's dragon named Michael beats the shit out of the party and knocks them off on either side. And so one group lands in the home of Giganto, and the other group lands in wherever it was that Michael is. And so first we follow the side that lands in the home of Giganto. And so while we're over there, we see that Emperor Dole pre-Lloyd was actually kind of a good dude and maybe was right in the whole war thing, and splitting the country into two, excuse me, because like he's like stopping bandits and kind of being like a really good dude and saves Kongol from the bandits trying to kill all the Giganto and stuff. And it's kind of cool, kind of nice. So then we travel up to the final. This is the third time in the game, by the way, we've had to walk through the home of fucking Giganto, but we make it to the top, and Kongol's brother Indora is there, and there's much less talking than all of the other ones, and Kongol just has to prove that he's the strongest, not Endora, and it's pretty easy, pretty simple. Kongol's a simple man. These are simple times. You just punch over and over again. And then when you beat the battle, you finally get Kongol's Golden Dragoon Stone. We've been wondering why Kongol hasn't been a Dragoon the entire game, and finally, here's the plot battle that gives you his stone.
Jeez. So if you don't pick it up in freaking Lohan, oh my god.
You get level 1 Dragoon Kongol right here.
Great.
That's ridiculous.
That's horrible.
I actually really like this one because all of them are so funny, but this one is explicit because after you beat him, your brother is like, what is it? He's like fighting and being the best isn't really about fighting, it's about love and helping. And I'm like, okay, but I learned that by beating the shit out of you. Like, all of these, it's like, there's always some message about feelings and acceptance, but what you're literally doing is just hitting your feelings until they die.
Yeah. That's all therapy is you just go into a room and hit your feelings till they die.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, it's like have either of y'all seen John Wick?
Nope.
No.
Oh, I don't have to. It's such a fucking good movie. So here's the thing. The subtext of the film is that John Wick is killing all these bad guys, not just because y'all know that he's like mad because his dog died.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which makes me reluctant to see it because animals dying makes me very sad.
Yeah, it's a good emotional hook. You're on board with John Wick. So the thing is, the dog is a gift from his wife. So his wife dies, and then like the day after his wife dies, he gets the dog in the mail, and it's like she set it up to have the dog delivered to him as like, now you won't be lonely.
Aww.
So like he's not really mad about the dog.
That's super sad.
Yeah. So like the whole the subtext of the film is like he's dealing with his grief over his wife by killing a shit ton of people. But what's funny is that at a certain point in the movie decides to make the subtext text, for those of you who weren't paying attention. So, I forget what happens, but somebody's like, John Wick, you're a madman, or something like that. And he looks at him and he's like, I'm going through a lot of stuff right now. Or something like that.
Oh, that sounds great.
And that's basically how I feel about all these scenes. It's like, yeah, you're working through your feelings by murdering a lot of people right now. That's your way of, that's what you do when you can't get therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is you go into the moon that never sets, and then the Virages use their magic to bring up your demons so that you can punch them in the face. So, back with Dart and Rose, we're in what looks like the Mountain of Mortal Dragon, and we learn how they make Dragoon Stones, how they made them all those years ago, which is some sort of like ritualistic killing and asexual reproduction all in one. And it's kind of cool. The particulars aren't gone into because you just watch her do it. She doesn't say, all right, now I'm going to make sure that I stab it in its heart right as I say the incantation. No, she just kills it. But that also means that our boy, the Divine Dragon, isn't dead because Lloyd did this to the DD. And
that's true.
You know that he's going to be reborn, and it's okay because he deserves it. He's a beautiful boy.
Yeah, so it's like FF style. It's like Final Fantasy VI style. Like, you kill the monster, and it becomes a magical rock, but then it also has a baby.
Yeah. So then we have a really long, drawn-out boss fight where Michael is immune until she tells Dart Michael's weakness, and so you just kind of have to survive until he's like, hey, look at my belly. And I'm like, I'm going to stab that belly. And he's like, no, don't stab my belly. And
that's my only weak spot.
Yeah. Honestly, these battles where you have to just do a bunch of turns of bullshit while you wait for the plot to happen are great for building up your additions.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that might be what they were for.
10 times.
I think that might be what they were for.
Uh-huh.
It also helps that Rose in her Dark Dragoon armor makes her totally immune to Michael's big attacks. Because she has, like, no HP compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
For me, Dart was too. I guess because I had a him with the special helmet of protectionness. Because, like, literally, the dragon does a super elaborate animation and hits the shit out of Dart. And it's so hard that afterward, Dart even has a dialogue where Dart's like, oh my god, he's so strong. But the thing is, it did 0 damage. And Dart's like, wow, he's too powerful, we can't beat him. And I'm like, fuck off, Dart. He literally just did 0 damage to you.
It's like fighting Sephiroth after you do all of the side quests.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Rose is really sad that she had to kill her friend after he went crazy, which is like what actually happened. So this is this is her replaying like the saddest part of her life, because I mean, besides the whole 10,000 years of killing babies, but the other sad part of her life was like after the dragon campaign, Michael got old and cranky, which is, as we see with the divine dragon, means I'm going to blow up everything I see. So she had to put Michael down, and it was super sad because we watched her like give birth to her little baby boy and then also have to kill her baby boy, and it was really, really sad.
Rest in peace, Michael.
I brought you into this world, and I can take you out.
Yeah, and then Dart tells her to focus on the future, which is how she's made it through the last 10,000 years instead of dwelling on the past. But it's canonical that Rose is starting to be able to feel and notice the passage of time now, which means she's got a lot of bullshit she's going through. So, yeah, let her feel her feelings, Dart.
Dart, tell Rose that she's valid.
So then we all regroup, and it's Albert's turn to confront his past, so he goes in to talk to Dole. And funnily enough, Mr. I have literally like 12 magic attack at level 45, Albert, you can still power up Albert, power down Dole, and use your Psych Bomb and finish this fight in one turn. I mean,
no way.
I mean 3 turns, but 1 turn of attacking, which is great.
Right.
But, yeah, because he has 2 swords that are, like, protecting him from damage, so you kill his swords. But if you kill his swords and him in the same turn, the battle's over, and it just takes 3 turns to get through all the dialogue, and it's great.
Well, thankfully, since I've improved my Get Good with Albert, it wasn't too hard even without the Psych Bomb.
I mean, it's not hard at all. No, they have 1,500 damage, which, like, HP each sword, and, like, that's nothing at this point. Like, worst case, that's like 2 failed editions. It will get you through one of them.
Yeah, basically.
But, Dole says that he's stronger than Albert, and Albert says, but the power of friendship. And he says that his dad looked up to Dole as an advisor, but Dole then had to, like, kill him. And Albert says that even though he's lost a lot of people, he's not going to give up hope. And it's kind of really great, and my favorite part is at the end, like, Dole's just like grandstanding the entire time, and Albert is way higher level than him and kicks his ass.
Yeah.
But at the end, he's just like, "Why? I'm so much stronger than you. How do you keep winning?" And Albert's literally just like, "The power of friendship, dog. Like, I am the one person that gets to talk about normal JRPG stuff in this game, and the power of friendship is what's making us win right here."
This is Albert back together, and he's never going down at the hands of the like.
Exactly.
Sorry.
But also, like, Albert, don't try to bullshit us. Like, A, your party's not even with you right now, and B, no, you won with the power of grinding.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, come on.
You won with the power of Eli finally learning what the fuck he's doing with you.
Yeah. Okay, so there is one other part, Sam. Maybe I misinterpreted this part, because I was a little sleepy, and this game's translation. But it seems like he was like, "Why'd you kill my dad?" And Dole's like, "Your dad sucked, dude."
Yeah.
Oh, I think he did.
Right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, he's like, "Your dad was actually terrible, and I did a political assassination because he was bad, and like, yeah, Dole turned out not great either, but it's like, your dad was super corrupt and taxed people way too much, because taxation is theft, apparently."
Yeah.
To be fair, in medieval times, taxation was different. It actually was
what's theft?
a worse thing than it is nowadays, in which case it's a good thing.
Yeah. Instead of, "Hey, everybody, let's pay for things," it was like, "You're going to give me your money because I was told by God to take your money."
Yeah, because fuck you, that's why. Yeah. Well, really, honestly, taxation back in medieval times isn't really taxation. It's really more like collecting rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I own this kingdom and this land, so you need to give me money. That's what taxation was in medieval times, so the kings are really landlords, which are the worst kind of person, so yeah.
Well, and Dole even says, like, your perception is skewed because you were a little kid at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were fucking 8, of course you thought your dad was cool.
Yeah. Like, if you're a kid, you're gonna look up to your parents regardless of the circumstances because you don't know any better. They're the main adults in your life.
Yeah, I really loved it, and Albert didn't really push back on it. Like, Albert still pushed back on, like, yeah, but you became possessed by a demon and became tyrannical, but like, when he's like, no, your dad was a terrible, terrible, corrupt ruler, Albert's like, oh, I guess that's true. I didn't realize that. He kind of takes it in stride. He's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Monarchies and all.
Which is, like, makes me so, like, proud of Albert for then being the best king that Indonesian has ever seen, like, since
Albert owns.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Albert. He's a great character.
Yeah. He's a great character, great king. Albert 2020. But next is Maru's fight, where she fights the Archangel, which, Eli, you probably have no idea what this is.
Nope,
because,
not a clue.
So in Wingley City, the forest, not the city, you go upstairs, and Maru's like, hey, do you want to see my room? And you're like, yeah. So she opens, like, a closet, and inside is this Archangel statue.
Oh,
and
wait, I did do that, actually, but I forgot about it.
Yeah. and so she talks there about how, like, oh, it's our symbol of, like, greatness, and it's kind of like our god, but not really, because we don't really have a big god thing, but, like, it's kind of really cool. And we're like, oh, awesome, thank you for sharing your culture. And now Maru gets to fight her culture.
I mean, it seems appropriate for her, since she was trying to get rid of it anyway.
Yeah. And so in the fight, she advocates that humanity is good and Wingleys are bad, and that's about it. So it's okay. The boss fight is greatly animated, though. It's my favorite one of these. It's really even cool. Though the plot is boring around it.
This is the first time I have ever used Meru. And wow. So she's got 3 additions, none of them built up. I put an Ultimate War God on her. And then I had her doing, what was it? Oh, Hammer Spin. She sounds like Catbug.
Yeah, and she's great. I love her.
She's adorable, and I wish I'd used her more. Like, the whole, like, she spins around several times, and then she falls on her face, and she goes, Hammer Spin! And it's so cute, and I feel so bad.
Boogie. Yeah, cool Boogie is the best line in the game. Well, second best.
Meru kicks ass.
Yeah, the best line in the game is Rose's die, that she just says instead of like a hup, hop, hop, just sometimes she'll just say die.
More and more.
Yeah, it's so good. Though she says it in Demon's Dance, her final edition, but she says it in the middle and not at the end. And because of that, I'm always like, all right, she said die, I'm done. And it's like failed edition. I'm like, all right.
No, you got 2 more hits, dude.
Yep.
But, so after Maru's, we go into the final area, which is some true Disc 4 JRPG bullshit finally. So it's, everything is, floating on, like, TV screens.
Yeah.
And, like, everything's made out of, like, silver stone blocks.
We're literally in TV land.
Everything's chrome in the future.
Everything is chrome in the future. So here is where I'm going to bring up. I was going to save it for the finale, but I'll bring it up here because it's relevant. This one room where everything is a TV there's a fan theory that everything is inside of a computer, and these people are the programs, like, breaking their subroutines to become sentient AIs, and that's why they're fighting against their fate and all of that stuff. And it, like, checks out, but it's dumb, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Problem is, I feel like you could. Here's my litmus test for fan theories. The litmus test is this: could you make this fan theory about basically any work of fiction, and it would make about as much sense?
Yes.
If yes, then it's bullshit.
Yeah. Well, it's
same thing apply. Anytime it's like it was all an X all along, it's like you could say that about anything.
Yeah. Or the people who decide that children's shows have actual creepy, like, origins and shit, like. Angelica's in a coma, and all the Rugrats are just in her dreams, or everybody in Ed, Edd n Eddy is dead the whole time. I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah. So yeah, we were all so in a technological fever dream the whole time,
and also dead the whole time.
And also dead.
Also, frankly, I'm not gonna lie. How is that more interesting than
fighting against God?
Yeah.
No. How is that more interesting than we have no idea why this room is in this fucking game? This is a fantasy game. Why are all these weird TVs here? That's way creepier. If there's if there's not explanation for it, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I like to think of it as just like, well, this thing warps time and space. This room is just from far in the future, kind of.
Well,
like,
Spiff, we like Twin Peaks. We're used to not having explanations for things.
Yeah, I really like it because not only is it TVs, it's TVs that are showing you like important emotional, not just like important things. It's important emotional points throughout the gameplay are on every screen, and that's really cool.
Yeah, you could think of it as like, okay, I guess I'm fan theorizing, but this is a theory that I think is actually interesting. Like, maybe, if God sort of low-key lives here, maybe this is how God keeps an eye on things, you know, with all these TVs. Like, it's supposed to be extremely evocative, and, like, you've gone beyond anything your characters... Like, this is a magical world, okay?
Yeah.
You've been to a place where gravity's upside down. You've been in places where things are warped. So, like, no amount of weird magical bullshit is going to surprise these characters. But this
that's surprising.
Them. Not that they comment on it, and the fact that there's no dialogue commenting on it is also great.
Yeah, it's good. But so at the end of the section, you feel a power, and you hear someone say, "My world, my future, my heart," over and over again. And Dart hopes that it's not Shauna, and it's not. It's just an intact Super Virage, which we then fight. A real, actual fight. How is this fight for you guys?
It was a little rough for me. There was one attack that it did a whole heckin' ton of damage. But I was able to get through it. I think everybody was alive at the end.
Yeah, I did side quests, so I had legend casks, and all of his attacks are magic, so I don't think I took damage, and I psych bombed him till he died. So, like, side quests in JRPGs suck, because every one of them gives you stuff that makes it harder than the final boss, because the final boss has to be balanced to where everybody can beat him, and not all the people that did all the things. But... yeah.
It's kind of an intractable problem with the JRPG format.
Yeah. What I think could work is, so in most Pokemon games from like Gen 4 to Gen 6, once you beat the game, you can go back and the gym leaders in the Elite Four will have harder Pokemon for you to fight. They could do something like that where it's like, okay, you killed Faust, so your final dungeon is going to be harder because you've already killed Faust, and like have the check there, like have it balanced like that. But
I think the best idea, the way to do it, and you cannot do this in every game, is the problem. Dragon Quest games, after you get past maybe 6 or 7, I know 7 does it, 8 does it, and then some of the remakes, like the remakes of 3 and 4 do it, where basically the extra hidden optional stuff literally just takes place after the end of the game. It's post-game content, right? Nice. So, like, it's like, oh, you beat the final boss, but there's a little bit of, like, an epilogue, like, extra little story. Like, it's actually plot. Like, there's an extra chapter of interesting story that isn't that important, but it's still interesting and fun, and at the end, you have the crazy boss. So it just happens after the end of the game. The problem is that a lot of JRPGs end with, like, the world being fundamentally altered in some big way. Yeah. So a lot of JRPGs end in such a way that it would make no sense to continue playing the game after the end of the game.
Yeah.
But if it is possible to do that, then I think that's by far the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Like, FF6 could have done it. Like you go around and do World of Ruin shit, but now there's, like, you just fight more monsters for funsies. I don't know.
Yeah. And, like, that's how, like, the player story goes anyways, because you never, except for this game, because we artificially did it, but normally if you were playing this game and you saw those side quests and they were too hard for you or whatever, you would double your save, go and finish the story that you're interested in, then go back to that save and go and do all of the things. Like, that's what the point of no return is for. And so, like,
that's
most
true.
games,
that's how we normally play the games anyway.
Yeah, so just make it make sense in the plot that way, and then everything is fine.
And again, I think most JRPGs, you could do that. And then you get an extra little... Dragon Quest IV, they added an entire extra 5-10 hour long chapter with a new playable, like a new party character and all this stuff. It's like you learn a bunch of backstory about the villain after you've defeated the villain. Like, yeah, it's crazy. I actually didn't play it yet. because I wanted to play like the OG game and not get into the extra stuff. But anyway, yeah, it's a great idea. I wonder. We'll find out next week if that's something that they could have done in this game, or if the way the game ends, there's no way they could have done that.
I wonder. So after the fight, we make it over to Shauna, who's floating in an anime fetal position, and as Dart runs up, Zieg knocks him back and steals the Red Dragoon Spirit,
That's weird.
which of course still works for Zieg because why wouldn't it? And so he transforms, and
Dart, you got it.
and so we apparently can't finish the game without another Dragoon fight because we need one always, and Zieg is the Dragoon in which we fight. And fun fact, this time when you fight him and you see Ziegfeld is the only time that they mention Dart's last name in game.
I thought that might have been the case.
It's in the manual and stuff, but this is the only time that you see, oh yeah, I guess his name would be Feld.
Yeah.
Ziegfeld.
Ziegfeld.
I also spent the entire fight hoping that Zieg would only hit Dart because he is
the Red Dragoon armor.
Yeah, he's immune to fire magic at this point, which is great. And it happens sometimes, but boy, did he like going after Rose.
Yeah.
So I went in, funny enough, I, being an idiot, didn't think I should probably think about the fact that Zieg is clearly going to be a fire magic person. I brought Meru into this fight.
Oh, man.
Oh.
He didn't touch Meru.
Wow.
Oh, that's lucky.
I think he might have used an all attack spell like twice maybe, but it didn't do a shit ton of damage. It did like under 1,000 to Meru.
That's
but
amazing.
I don't think he used I don't think he used a single attack, a single character attack against her the entire battle.
He used Red-Eyed Dragon
incredible.
a couple of times, and I'm sitting there going, how much fucking mana do you have, dude? Jeez.
Right? None of the bad guys in this game have mana. It's nuts.
It's not fair.
It's annoying. Yeah, I really like the fight with Zieg just because you get to hear all of Dart's additions with a different voice actor.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
I think that they should have given this boss battle fake final boss battle music, because you really should feel like it's the final boss battle, because I think you would have
True.
reason to believe that it is. So they should have given it fake final boss music instead of the normal boss music.
They should have.
It gives away that it's not really the final boss.
Yeah.
Not that we all didn't know that anyway, but you know.
Yeah.
They should at least pretend that we're being... I want to at least pretend like I'm surprised.
Yeah. So after the fight, Zieg says, I no longer need this flesh, and kind of melts to the bottom of the screen. And then motherfucking Melbu Frama comes
Nice.
comes
Good
out.
old Melbatos du fromage. That is what I've been calling him.
And,
Thank you, I'm glad you liked that.
and so this is a plotline that I accidentally told you like 3 weeks ago, but I used the word Zieg instead of Melbu Frama, and when I accidentally said Melbu Frama or something, he happened to be in the scene we were talking about, so you probably all just thought, oh, I missed that, not Sam spoiling the end of the game, and so neither of you filed it away. But I was listening to an episode like on the way to work the other day, and I'm like, oh shit, I just told them the end of the fucking game.
Whoops.
But so when Zieg killed Melbu Frama Obi-Wan'd into the Force and hid inside of Zieg's Dragoon Spirit because Zieg was petrified. So of course that was never going to be anything. But then when Zieg got over his petrification and went off to fight the black monster, he transformed into his Dragoon, which awoke Melbu Frama, which let him take over Zieg's body. And he didn't even go to the black monster. He was like, I have all that I need. So he left to go and stop his evil plan, and didn't even bring the Dragoon Spirit with him.
Now,
but
I have a question. How did
Go ahead.
Rose not know back in Neat that she was fighting against Zieg?
she didn't. That was the point here. Is
Yeah,
he
but
goes
how? How did she not know that?
because she never met him. So he went to put on his Dragoon Spirit to go and face the black monster.
And that's
awoke
when
his Melbu Frama. Melbu Frama was like, what the fuck am I doing here? It's too cold in Milcesso this time of year, and just leaves.
Okay. Sorry, I missed that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, no, it's like that was something I had. That's why it came up last time. I was like, how come she didn't recognize him because of blah? I'm like, oh shit, fuck. But yeah, so the reason she didn't recognize him is because they never got to fight.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but
Nice.
yeah. So the final piece of his evil plan starts now. He doesn't just want the god of construction to come back; he wants to be the god of destruction. When the body will open up its soul for Shauna, he instead pushed Shauna out of the way and jumps into the receptor so that it doesn't have a soul, but he has a soul. So his soul is controlling the whole big shoop-a-floop.
He literally just like does a little swip swap. He's like, nope, my turn. It's me, not her.
Yeah, and so then when he takes the body of the Viraj embryo for himself, Lloyd shows up, and he really believed in the Utopia thing.
Lloyd
wants the world to be saved and not destroyed, and so Lloyd joins the party as Maddie guessed for one boss fight in which you do not control either Dart nor Lloyd, but technically he's there, and that's the most important part.
I love how
you never even get you never even have like the menu appear, so like it's really a cutscene. What were you gonna say, Eli?
I was gonna say I really love how you still get the experience thing afterwards,
right? It's like, wait, but that wasn't a battle. It was a cutscene. It wasn't even a fake battle. It's not like if the battle had been like you pick attack twice and then there's a cutscene, but no, like you don't even see the menu appear.
No.
Yeah.
So why does it have the battle result screen at the end? It's
what I
great.
think it is it's probably every single time that they've had one in the entire engine cutscene, it's happened at the end of a battle.
Yep.
And so
it's baked into the programming.
They might not have the capability to say when in battle when leaving the battle system, don't show the experience.
That was exactly what I was thinking, but it just makes it kind of funny.
Yeah.
No, I actually
got 0
like
XP from that.
Here's what it is. Maybe it really was a battle, but the problem is the main character is Dart. And Dart was all geared up to battle. He just didn't get to do anything because Lloyd died on the first turn. So like, you know what I mean? It's not Dart's fault that he didn't get to take a turn that battle.
Yeah. So Melbu ignores Lloyd's whole DBZ badassness and blows a hole through his chest. And so we rush over, and Lloyd gives us our 2 in-game power-ups that you probably didn't go out and play with unless you went to go and get healing items before the end of the game. But we get the Divine Dragoon Spirit for Dart and the Dragon Buster for Rose. And the one failing of this game is everybody's in-battle model includes the sword. It's their sword or whatever. It's not a separate piece. So Rose doesn't get to fight with the flaming awesome Dragon Buster.
I think objectively that means that Final Fantasy VII is the better game.
I think it might.
I am a big believer in equipment actually changing on the character models. That was one of the innovations of the modern era of video games.
Yeah, I definitely approve of it, and it not being here is kind of like didn't really notice it until this time playing the game. Where I'm just like, you know what? Like everybody's looked the exact same this entire time.
Yeah. If they had given Rose just one, of course I can't model the sword differently, but just give her an entire new model where the only difference is that her sword is different now.
Yeah,
I know it would have been some extra work, but this is already a pretty high budget game. It would have been really cool to see that.
And so we get the Divine Dragoon Spirit is really cool. I don't know if you used it on Dart yet, but
no, I haven't.
So it's not nice. Like it is not a like. In his regular Dragoon armor, he's like, look, I am Dart, and now I am wearing armor, and I am magic. The Divine Dragoon armor, like, his arm becomes like this big, like, crazy, horrific dragon cannon, and, like, the stuff, like, takes over, like, half of his face, and it's, like, big, droopy, and creepy, and he has 6 wings because they forgot that he's supposed to have 7. But it's great.
I was planning to go back and, like, stock up at fake Serdio and do some training, because the guide I'm reading is like, don't even try to fight Melbatoast until Dart is level 40, because it's basically impossible.
Don't listen to him. It's not that hard. It's a war of attrition, but it's not that hard.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's really long. So sell all of your repeat items except for power up, power down, and the psych bomb, and
already did.
Fill the rest with healing items, and you'll be fine. He has really high defense and really high magic defense. So get rid of the one that's consumable and just put healing items in its place.
Gotcha.
But yeah. So you talk to your party and get psyched up to in this game, but you then tell Rose that you're not ready, so you head back and save, and we'll fight Melbu next week.
Yep.
And that's the.
Or if you're on Vita, you don't have to save because Vita is amazing at going to sleep.
Nice.
So you say, "No, let's stop," and then I hit the button and I'm done.
Nice.
Didn't even go.
But yeah, let's do some memorable moments. We're going to, by definition, have fewer this time because we went into everybody's shit earlier. But I have the one I want to start with is just amazing. You get up to the moon for the first time, and everyone's like freaking out because like they're in a forest on the moon, and someone's like, "What's going on here?" And Rose says, "Magic." which is kind of like true for every RPG. It's just like, well, wait, what's going on here? It's magic. Just go with it.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
What about you guys? Did you have any that stuck out to you?
Just a couple. Let's see. Where is it? I actually don't remember when this happens, actually. I took a screenshot of this at some point, but Dart goes, oh, yeah, that's right. They're like, this is early on, after they destroy the signet or whatever, and then they're like, oh, no, we failed 3 times in a row, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Dart goes, they're like, oh, it sucks, we're all gonna die or whatever, and Dart goes, it's just the signet of the moon is broken. I don't know. I think that's really good. First of all, grammatically, it's goofy. But he's like, yeah, it's fine. We'll be fine.
The apocalypse has just started. It's no big deal.
My favorite thing is that when you get to I tweeted about this. When you get to the end, it's like, oh man, final dungeon, right? Like, I've played JRPGs. I know I'm about to be fighting giant, fucked up, weird, monster-y things, and like magic eldritch horrors, and like mostly it's like, oh, it's a unicorn, it's a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you first get there, I got into a battle where the 2 enemies were mountain ape and cute cat. And cute cat, I didn't get a good look at it close up because it's when the camera zooms in for the battle, it's pretty quick. Mm-hmm. But I did get a good look at mountain ape, and mountain ape's character model is phenomenal. It is a palette swap, but I guess I didn't notice how much I liked the model when I saw him last time, when he was like a what is it, like a wintry mat, like a cold, like a Yeti. So he's just this big, dumb, brown ape thing. He's more like a gorilla. Wait, are gorillas apes? Yes, they are. And he's got a dumb look on his face and red eyes. But under his right, so his left arm is doing kind of like the thing that apes do, where they like are like scratching their sides, like the stereotypical sort of thing. But then his right arm is curled around a giant fucking tree trunk. He's holding the tree trunk under his shoulder, and that's what he smacks you with, right? But I just love it. I always love it in JRPGs when or any game really, when character models and enemy models have specific things like that. Like, if the ape's just walking around, that's whatever. But this ape's carrying a tree trunk, and the implication is that every single ape carries a tree trunk. Like, that's not a thing that an ape can choose to do or not do. It's just like, yeah, all apes carry tree trunks around and hit people with it. Like the melee weapon is part of their being, instead of just they use their arms.
Haven't you played Donkey Kong? I mean, Donkey Kong consistently carries around a tree trunk.
Absolutely. So
that's just his coconut gun.
Yeah.
A little bit later, they're I don't know, they're just partway through the dungeon, and they're talking about like, oh, is the Varas embryo coming to life or not, or whatever? Oh, is Shauna merging with it? And Albert goes, it is a dilemma for us because we want to take Shauna back. Like,
Wow.
Good job, Albert. That is a dilemma. Thanks for explaining it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just, he just says it so dryly. Of course, when you see the red flower, like I said earlier, it's like, hey, it's kill or be killed. You gotta be careful there, girl. And let's see, what's this last one? Oh yeah, Melbrew Frama says to
Lloyd?
He's talking to the party, but he's talking about Zieg. And they're saying, how could you be Zieg? And Melbrew Frama says, it's true that the sword of that man penetrated me. And I am a child, so I thought that extremely. Okay, whatever. You can't just use the word penetrate, okay?
Yeah.
Like, come on. You can't just.
True.
You can't. You got. People know.
It's true that that the sword of that man penetrated me. Are you seducing me?
Yeah. And then he goes, but what vanished is only my flesh. Also flesh, frankly, when it comes to words that are kind of loaded. If you're using the word flesh, you're either talking about Jesus stuff, or you're talking about sex stuff, or you're like a vampire or something. Okay, like flesh is not a word that normal people use.
And let's be honest, if you're using it in a vampire context, it's probably sex stuff.
Yeah.
And Jesus stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, oh, I want the flesh. It's like, oh, get a room, dude. Yeah, that's basically. Oh wait, what's this one? Oh, I already did that. The dilemma one. That's basically it. There were a lot of good parts. We mostly talked about it. I mostly enjoyed all the actual things that actually happened. Oh, I like when you talk to the rich guy, and Albert's like, oh, I know this asshole rich guy. He was from Bale. I guess this is Bale.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, I failed to write mine down, but I think the most memorable moment for me was playing Meru for the first time and realizing how fucking adorable she is.
Yeah, she's great. You should replay the game and just play as a Meru Haschel party, and everything will be great. That was my plan. And then one boss fight, I got kicked in the ass with the Meru and Haschel loadout. So I switched over to Rose and Albert, and then I never switched back because that's canon for me. It's Rose, and like, to be fair, it's canon for a lot of the cutscenes. Like, the only people that come out in half of the cutscenes are Rose and Albert. So it's
they're like more important characters.
I will say, Sam, and I hope that this makes you very happy. This is the first time that I've considered replaying one of the RPG Book Club games that I hadn't already played.
Nice. I'll take that as an early review and get all of your thoughts on it next week and tell you how wrong and or right you are.
I think it would be nice to start over and know what the fuck I'm doing. Because I started out going, what are these additions? I can't manage this. I can't handle it. Oh, another memorable moment for me, and this was just like, it was another battle thing. When I was using my Dragoon attack, because I ran out of mana a couple of times, and I didn't want to use one of my Moon Serenades because I'm like, but what if I need them later?
You will need them on Melbu Frama.
Yeah, so I'm glad I saved them. See? All my pack ratting has been leading up to this final boss, and it's.
But now you're going to be in phase 1 of Melbu Frama, and you're going to be like, well, what if I need it in phase 2? Okay, well, what if I need it in phase 4?
Okay, fair enough. So I was using one of my Dragoon attacks, and I actually managed to do more than one. I got 2.
Wow.
Yeah, I hit it twice at the right time. I still don't know how that works exactly, but I did it a few times consistently during that fight. I think it was against Zieg. And I was very, very proud of myself.
Yeah, I similarly, so I played ahead because I wanted to play more Kingdom Hearts this week. So I beat Melbu Frama, and all game I would like hit it 4 times, but it wouldn't ever tell me perfect, and so I wouldn't actually get that last hit or whatever. But in Melbu Frama, when it came in clutch, because I did not bring any Mood Serenades in it, I got like 4 perfects on Dart's Divine Dragon one, which is the best one that you can use against them. And I'm just like, I am the winner. I actually got it's perfect. But
I've gotten to the point where I can basically hit that. The timing is bizarre.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I basically got it now. What'll happen invariably is I'll get into battle, and of course Dart has the highest damage by far. And I'll also often use a power up on Dart. Mm-hmm. And what'll happen invariably is all three of my dudes go into, or my folks go into Dragon mode, and Dart, I'll miss the perfect every time, and the other two I'll hit it. And I'm like, I'm only hitting it on my lower damage characters. God damn it!
I did,
but
I did discover that whoever uses the special just automatically gets the full Dragoon
yes, which
edition.
is why I usually have Dart do it.
Yeah. I've been doing that as well.
Yeah. But,
that's the only reason to do the all three at once, because it's honestly very dangerous, because going all three at once is usually a bad idea, because you can't use items, but it's almost worth it for the free edition.
I will say it's helpful for Albert as well, because he does suck so much at magic. I can use a Rose Storm,
physical,
and then use his Dragoon attack.
Yeah, so I have one, nuancey thing, and I hope that you guys can pick up what I'm putting down, because I really like it. But and then three funny ones to end out the day with, so we don't have to end on sad stuff. So when you first land in the tree, Rose has lost all of her optimism. Before it was a bleak optimism where she's we're going to annihilate things, but here she is having failed at her job. Her job was to stop what you're doing right now.
We're all gonna die, it's hopeless.
And so every time you talk to her, you no longer get the we're Dragoons, we're going to do what we have to do sort of black monster from her, but you get just Rose. I wish she had a last name so I could humanize her more, just the person inside of her. And so Dart, his plucky hero optimism is the only thing she can rely on, and it's a big flippy flop from normal JRPG, where in normal JRPGs you start with somebody with a character flaw, and then when it comes down to it, they're just you know what? No, fuck that character flaw. I'm now a good person, and we all cry, and we're all so proud of them, and they fight the final boss. But here with Rose, she's no, we're going to win everything. Everything is good, and she throws away a character boon at the end instead of throwing away a character flaw, and it's kind of really cool. And she's lost and vulnerable, and it's so good. She's the best character. Rose.
She's like Homoda from Madoka Magica. I don't know if you two have seen that, but
I just have watched the first couple of episodes. I keep trying to watch it all, but every time I do so, I'm with somebody else, and they're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Oh, well, let me start it over, because the first 3 episodes are the best episodes in anime." And I start it over, and then I don't continue much past episode 4 or 5.
Please continue. It's really, really good. The end of it is just perfect.
Yeah, I really need to finish it. I've heard that it's perfect.
It's one of my absolute favorite anime.
Yeah. So then my last two is I said or 3. One of them's funny. 2 of them are uplifting. So we'll start with the funny one. So when you're doing the fight against Claire, and Haschel's I just wanted you to be a good fighter. Claire's response is, I don't think so. I am just a girl, like the ones you can find anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Well, someone doesn't believe in herself.
Right?
Seriously. I'm just a normal girl who's become the most powerful person in the world.
Which almost is why did you search for 20 years for me? I'm just a girl, like you can find anywhere. Also, I just realized it. Claire's been dead for 18 of the 20 years that he's been searching.
Yeah. Sucks for Haschel.
Sucks for Haschel.
Mm-hmm.
Basically never gonna find her. Well, he might find her body somewhere. He'll find a grave and neat.
Though actually, he doesn't go... Never mind. That's hella spoiler.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oops.
He doesn't something. We'll leave it at that. You can see what he doesn't do at the end. It was more like a...
doesn't.
It was more like a something about the meta around the ending and not the actual ending. So gotcha. I wasn't actually giving it away, but it required you to know what I was talking about. But
is he going to accidentally the whole thing?
He accidentally a word.
Careful with that one. That's an antique.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't the whole thing. Yeah. It is really, really, that's throwback. Only 90s kids remember.
Yeah.
Only a very specific subset of 90s kids remember. Well, let's be clear here.
Yeah. But so my favorite thing is similar to that one is the where you would say most but don't put the adjective there. We're just like Chikorita is the most Pokemon ever, and then everybody just fills in that adjective and they jump in and like hate on you or whatever. And you didn't actually put a thing. But
it really is.
So my last two uplifting ones, these are when you're talking to everybody before you go and actually fight Melbu. This is hanging around, so you might not have seen these. But Meru says that no, this one is in her fight with the Archangel. Never mind. The Miranda one I have is later. But so in her fight with the Archangel, she says that this world is awesome. It's filled with people who are going through so many things. So of course there's fighting, but there's happiness too. I love this world. I'm going to protect it, which I thought was great. Where she's like, yeah, people are fighting, but like people are going through a lot. So of course there's going to be conflict because like people have to work through their shit.
People under a lot of stress these days.
Yeah. I was just about to say that.
And then the final one.
Yes,
I really do.
If you watch Twin Peaks, I'll read Homestuck.
Okay, I'll do it just so you can read Homestuck. But so my Miranda's happens there at the end, and it's the most like sum up of the theme. And this is when it's like it says it directly to be like, I hope you now notice that this is what the game is about. But she says, fate belongs to those who are living. We can destroy this quote unquote fate that somebody else made up. And it's good. It's good, fam. Because that's what we're doing. We're about to go and kill God and keep him from killing us.
Actually very Marxist to say that. Marx calls capital dead labor.
Nice.
Because it's literally labor from the past. And capital and like literally physical objects, not just money, but like, you know, if you're using a machine, someone in the past built that machine, right?
Nice.
So basically he says that dead capital is the past what is it? The dead ruling over the living, basically,
nice.
Whereas actual labor is live labor.
Nice.
So anyway, Rose, very
Miranda.
very Miranda, very Marxist.
Nice.
Good job, Miranda.
But yeah, that was all that I had. There was one final one. I just saw that I skipped it. So back in Disc 3, Zieg reveals that he's Dart's dad. Dart goes to attack him. It might not be in the end of Disc 3, it might be the beginning of Disc 4. It happens a lot. But he runs over to attack him, and he bitch slaps him, and everybody runs over to make sure Dart is okay, and Rose is just angry, so she's just staring at Zeke. So this time he comes and he bitch slaps him in Mayfill, and Rose is the only one that runs over to make sure that Dart is okay, which is a good her growth of I'm not sad about my boyfriend anymore. I care about my friends more than your bitch assness, which is super cool.
It's good to see her make that.
I also like how in that scene. Oh, sorry about that. I like how in that scene, Dart also. We're at the part where it's what's it called? Sailor Moon RPG level now, where Dart just goes into Dragoon mode like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And just charge. Before it wasn't like that. Now he's just Dragoon mode. Bam! Gonna hit you. And then he gets slapped out of it. And the fact that cutscene didn't even go into a dramatic camera angle or anything. We talk so much about the high budget cutscenes, but just the regular in-game cutscenes, I think, are often the best ones, actually.
Yeah. And they do a lot of cool stuff with it, where they'll sometimes they'll change the camera angle, not as much as Final Fantasy VII did, but they still will change the camera angle to give you a different look at the scene, or they'll fade to black so that then you're watching it from all the angles as if it was a battle scene, but you just don't have to render the ground behind it, so they can just use the cheaper models, and it's really cool.
Yeah, that's part of why the Lavitz death scene is one of my absolute favorite cutscenes, because they do so much with just the in-game models, and oh god, Lavitz and Dart holding hands as Lavitz dies, like even in the polygons, it's really well done.
Yeah, and then even without going into the battle versions, you have Shauna's dress is just a regular pre-rendered background scene. You have I'm deciding to not kill the black monster was just a pre-rendered background scene. Lavitz's funeral was just a pre-rendered background scene. Mm-hmm. Like, there's just so many great moments that they give to your basic models, and it's so good. I love it so much. But yeah, that'll do it for the week. If you like what we do here, let us know. You can reach us at rpgbookclub@gmail.com or on Twitter at rpgbookclub or in our Discord, who has a link in the description. And we now have emojis in our Discord, and all we've been doing is making Legend of Dragoon puns and Xenogears puns the entire time.
And a little bit of light roleplay, you know.
Yeah, yes. Just a little bit. We have a tiny selection from Sailor Moon, a big selection from Legend of Dragoon and Persona 3, and a small section from Xenogears. And so when Eli was telling me about Ken hearing per son instead of crush dance, he told me that, and I threw up the main character from Persona 3 and just said -A, so Persona.
Well, he even says at the beginning of the game, he says Persona, so it works. It works on two levels.
hey Sam, are we doing like a watch party / live episode?
Yeah,
shindig. Is that happening?
Yeah. So we need to decide when we're doing it, but it'll probably be next Wednesday, because that's when me and Eli both have off. But we'll have to nail down the particulars. But yeah, we're going to be watching Warriors of Virtue, which is a real bad kung fu movie, so you gotta come out and see that one. And then after Warriors of Virtue, we will have our live episode where we talk about all of the things and talk about this game and our next game and all of our feelings, and we'll answer Q&A, and everything will be awesome. We already have had a couple of questions come in on our Discord that we're going to answer, and it'll be real cool. But as a reminder, our next game we're playing is Final Fantasy X.
We're selling out! Woo!
Yeah.
Selling out. We started this podcast saying, I want to give love to all of the smaller RPGs out there. And we were playing probably the second biggest JRPG of all time. Like, I think 7 might have been bigger than it, but they still both were launched JRPGs for a new console. So they're both huge.
I'm gonna give us a little bit of slack here. As far as units sold, I don't fucking know. Who knows? But as far as cultural imprint, I think that FF10's cultural imprint was actually not enormous. Given the time and place that it came, I believe that very shortly after, people kind of stopped caring about JRPGs in general. People started saying they were outdated. And even FF10, people said it's outdated. It's like we're into more new games, like Grand Theft Auto. Like, we don't like these old-fashioned games. They need to be more innovative. The cutscenes are too long. Blah blah blah. We don't like it because it's cheesy. So, I think it's a very interesting game to do and talk about, actually, especially in the year of our Lord 2019.
20 by teen, you mean?
20 by teen, exactly.
But a lot of people have said what you just said, Maddie, but that then means that those people think that 10 was great, and then everyone else says 10 is great, and all I've ever heard is positive stuff about it being the best game of all time.
Oh, everyone likes it. I just feel like people don't talk about it. I will say, no, FF10 is like the game that all the not gamers have played. I think every person at your school that has a PS2 but doesn't go to video game websites and argue online about dumb shit, they've played FF10, and for them it's the best fucking game ever. But you're like hardcore, like big time gamer aficionados are the ones actually who talk about it less. I think that's probably it, because impact of it.
Like, I think of my like main like friend group, I think I'm like the most like not like hardcore gamer in the way that that's meant you play Fortnite these days, but like I've gamed like as my main hobby my entire life. Yeah. I think I'm the only one of my friends that's like that. Not saying that you guys aren't my friends. I'm just saying like historically at Baylor, I know Maddie was at Baylor, but we weren't friends at Baylor. But like at Baylor in high school, those sorts of things, I was the only person that like dove deep on that sort of stuff. So I probably am getting that impression from all of my friends who have 5 PS2 games. 3 of them are Madden or FIFA, depending on if they're white or if they're Hispanic, and
or Tekken.
Then the last one is Final Fantasy X, like almost invariably. Like that's why at Half Price Books they had 15 copies of it, and all of them were like $3 because everybody bought it.
Wow. Yep, so, that's accurate. So basically, it's only jaded gamers with bad opinions that don't appreciate FF10. Regular people think it's awesome.
Yeah, and then also like just as a quick aside about that whole thing. Like there will be so many people that will that because something will speak to them, they will say that it's the best even though it's not. Like Xenogears is really good. It speaks to you. I really like what it's trying to accomplish. It's a bad game. It is not completed. Parts of it are too hard. A lot of it is like crap, but it pulls itself together by its bootstraps and it comes out to be good. But there are so many people that are just like, man, Final Fantasy 10, 7, 15, 12, those are all crap games. The best game of all time is Wild Arms 1 or Xenogears or Sengen Kagura or something like that.
It's like, come on. Like,
it's not. Like,
be reasonable.
Yeah, and which does remind me. I swear I'm going to finish this episode. I know that you two are probably just like, "Come on, shut the fuck up." But I saw on Twitter there was a thread that was like, "What's your unpopular Final Fantasy opinion?" And literally every opinion had somebody saying the opposite thing there, which is kind of my reason for wanting to do the podcast. And it's great.
Final Fantasy is such an influential series and is such a contentious series. You can love the series, yet have drastically varying opinions on it. Unlike Dragon Quest, where if you like Dragon Quest, you have the same opinion on Dragon Quest as everyone else who likes Dragon Quest. So yeah, of course we should fucking do one. You know?
Yeah, it's really good. But I don't think of. I did remember right here as I was saying this that I wanted to talk about the Tim Rogers thing for Kingdom Hearts, but I'm not going to go into that whole thing. I'll save it for the live episode. So if you really like what we do here, you can help us pay for it all by donating on our Patreon. Patrons get to vote on the next game we're playing once Final Fantasy VII goes up. We'll open up those polls. So if you want
Final Fantasy X.
Did I say 7?
You
I meant
sure
10.
did.
Oh, we're doing 7 now? Awesome.
No.
It's canon. It's the thing. It's official.
Nope.
I'm going. Everyone go buy your copies.
No, I'm going to bleep it out. But so when we play Final Fantasy X, the polls will open, and people who pay us just $1 measly on our Patreon will get to vote on it. And if you don't care about voting, but you just want to help us out and then also own a cool thing, we have a merch store at shop.spreadshirt.com/RPGbookclub. And next week, come back and we'll beat the whole game. And we'll talk about the ending, and Sam will probably cry on the air.
Aww.
So
nice.
Yeah.
Next week, one of these podcasters will die. Cry. Will cry.
It's going to be a little less high stakes than that.
But for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I've been Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddie.
Toodaloo.
Bye. Love you. I want facial hair, but I can't really grow it.
Really?
So I grow a neck beard and sideburns.
Your sideburns are so substantial. I'm surprised that you would have issue with other kinds of hair.
Thank you.